Previously on the Breadcast.
I feel like you do have to have one episode that is a disaster.
There will definitely be one. Definitely, the next episode will be a disaster.
The Breadcast, the Breadcast. Flour and crumbs and crumbs. So much crumbs. Breadcast, the Breadcast. Yum, 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 yum.
And then there's going to be a clip from last week's. Okay, welcome to the Breadcast. I'm your host, Joe Saunders, and this is Breadcast episode number 2, episode 2 of 3. So, you know, if this was Baz Luhrmann's Red Curtain trilogy, then this would be 1996's William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, just like how last week's episode was strictly ballroom. But, you know, so this is the second in the Breadcast trilogy, and, you know, besides being like Romeo and Juliet, this episode is really going to be like the middle chapter in so many famous film trilogy episodes. So this is our Empire Strikes Back. This is our Aliens. This is our The Dark Knight. You know, in the first episode, we introduced everything. And now in this one, the stakes have been raised and it's going to get a lot darker. And, you know, we're going to see if we can push through this and survive. I don't know, but we'll find out. But before we get into that and we reveal this week's bread, let me reveal our guests.
Okay.
I
was being a good little boy and staying quiet.
You were being very quiet. Please welcome my friend, David Phillips. Hello, David.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good. It's a nice morning. Is this called the Breadcast?
This is called the Breadcast.
Okay. I don't know anything about
Right.
this.
Well, we are recording all the episodes before, so you haven't had the chance to listen to them.
So to be perfected and edited in a very tight.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, 2 of 3.
That's right.
As you mentioned, all these trilogies that I didn't realize I was being brought in as a part of.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't inform you that this was a trilogy.
This was a trilogy. I didn't know what kind of weight I was bringing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you have a different plan for each episode in a way that best signifies what this Baz Luhrmann genre that you're going for?
Well, in a way, you know, there is a plan and there isn't a plan.
Okay, great.
And some of these, you know, some of the twists and turns we're taking, I think, are just kind of natural when it comes to a trilogy. As we'll see today.
But John Leguizamo will be here.
John Leguizamo will be here.
Yeah.
I will be slipping into iambic pentameter a few times at select moments. Well, David, do you like bread?
I do like bread.
What's your favorite kind of bread to eat?
Oh, that's a good question. We're talking all ranges of breads.
All ranges, because that's what we talk about on the Breadcast. Is all ranges.
I think I love a dessert bread like you've made for me before. Mm-hmm. A zucchini bread was a real discovery for me as like somewhere in my teenage years where I was maturing and I realized that bread could be so much more than just a simple loaf.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, zucchini bread, that sounds terrible. It's zucchini. And then you realize, no, it doesn't taste like zucchini at all. And zucchini probably doesn't even belong in the bread. It's clearly just sugar and butter.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like it's healthy because you see pieces of zucchini in it. It's like a pumpkin bread, essentially.
Yes. It's very, yes. You're going to want to check out our first episode.
Oh, wow.
Because it's all about zucchini bread.
Oh, man. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, I hope they get off the zucchini bread topic. And then I come in here talking about zucchini. Hey, you know what is an underrated bread? Just a classic bun on a hamburger. The hamburger, a bun is crucial to a hamburger.
Yeah, it really is. It can make or break it.
Yeah. So I feel like as much as I love bread on its own, it deserves credit for like carrying some very classic dishes like a hamburger.
Yeah.
An In-N-Out bun, huge. It wouldn't be the In-N-Out burger without that bun.
The Shake Shack bun is a really
good bun.
Such a key part of that burger.
But also, yeah, without the burger, that bun, I don't know. Are you enjoying eating that?
Yeah. I don't know.
These are questions for the audience.
Well, great. Well, I guess we should get to tasting this week's bread.
Oh man, that's a huge feature of this podcast. I'm excited.
Yeah. And you don't know what we're gonna taste. I haven't told you.
No idea.
You've been kept in the dark. I wanted to try something different for this week. Last week I made a spiced zucchini bread, a classic dessert bread, very sweet. And this time, I wanted to go to the other side of the spectrum. I wanted to make a classic yeast-based bread, such as you would make sandwiches out of or eat with sandwiches, that kind of thing.
Now, this is still, you're not revealing what kind of yeast bread, right?
I have not. I'm going to bring it out.
Yeast.
I'm just giving you a little setup.
Okay.
And I guess I'll just get it and bring it out.
Wow. There he goes. This is part of it, right? I sit here as you walk away into another room. I'm now alone. This is very professional. Oh, yeah, because you couldn't have kept it a secret just by keeping the tinfoil on it in front of me. You had to go into another room. That's...
Well, I didn't want to tip it off at all what it was going to be.
I guess you're right. The height tells me something.
All right, here's the reveal.
Wow, it's bread!
So this week, I made a classic white bread.
Oh.
And here's a little bit of a spoiler. It's fucked up.
Okay, I couldn't tell. I didn't want to say anything.
It's very bad looking.
It looks weird.
Did not rise.
It didn't look like it rose
at all.
That looked like an issue immediately.
This is as classic a white bread recipe as you can get, but I don't know what happened. This was a real. This was very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it looks. I couldn't tell if it was a sourdough or. Now you're saying a regular white bread would probably be 3 times this height.
Yes, this should have.
And as filled out.
This should have filled out. This looks just like kind of a large dinner roll. Right. I think right now
it looks like it did when you put it in the oven.
Basically,
it changed a little bit of color.
Yeah, basically.
Oh wow,
it's actually I think a little raw on top.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Still,
this is gonna be bad.
This is gonna be very bad, but I'm gonna cut into it right now.
Oh, I'm excited. Now, is it true that when your parents had a similar reaction as to when you were born? That they were like, this isn't fully baked. It's just the whitest, unbaked, imaginable. Oh, wow. I don't think we can eat that.
Well, Dave, that's part of you being on the podcast. You have to eat this whole thing.
I have to eat this?
This looks like a frickin' potato in the middle of it.
Is this like raw?
I think this is raw.
So you knew this might be the case when you... This is so funny. I feel bad. I was excited.
I feel bad too. I feel bad that this happened. I feel embarrassed.
Oh my God.
I guess let's
Should we run to the store and just get a white loaf?
Well, you know, this is what this podcast is all about. Is about, you know, you get in the kitchen and things don't go as expected.
This is Han Solo getting dunked in oh my God, in carbonite.
Yeah, we all remember he got dunked in carbonite.
This is that moment in Empire.
Exactly.
When it all seems like it's going horribly wrong. You can't believe that it happened.
This is, you know, things going dark. This is,
Can we think of another?
The Joker is terrorizing Gotham right now.
Mm-hmm. This is the cruise sequence.
This is Maggie Gyllenhaal
is like oil coming all over her body, or like this is in trouble. The fire's about to start. She's gonna die. He's not gonna save her.
He thinks he's saving her. He's saving Harvey Dent though.
Now the weird part about that is that in this version, everyone did die.
Everyone did die. Well,
and nothing good came of it.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about what this is. So this is a basic. This recipe was called Basic White Bread, and I got the recipe from a book called The Book of Bread, which is by by Judith and Evan Jones. This book was published in 1982. There's some interesting stuff about this book. This book was given to me by my mom.
Wow.
Whose mother gave it to her.
Wow, that is a beautiful story.
And yeah, it was very nice. My mom kind of made a moment of giving me this book recently, and she was like, "This was given to me by my mom, and I know you're getting into bread making, so I'm going to give this to you."
Oh, so this is you got into bread making without her giving you a book. It was just something that you were calling towards, and then she was like, "You know what?
Yeah,
you finally found your calling, and this was in your blood all along."
Yeah,
the Saunders is, or wait, what's her maiden name?
I don't want to give out her maiden name because I don't want people to use it to get into my various credit card websites and things like that.
Okay, got it. Interesting.
But well, it's funny you say that it did in my blood because I was like, "Oh wow, this is great. You used this book," and I said. I was like, well, wow, what recipes did you make in this? And she goes, I made like 1 or 2. So she didn't really use the book.
Okay,
she just has had the book.
And you really don't want to give away her maiden name because of your own passwords and not because
It's pretty
of
much what I
the
use for
dark
all my
past
passwords.
that this family has been through.
Why are you asking
in the
about
South.
her? Why?
I'm sure there's no terrible lineage.
Why are you asking about her maiden name? I don't understand that.
You got very cagey the second I asked about it.
I don't understand why you're asking it.
My mom's maiden name's Weinberg.
Okay,
I'm giving it out.
and that's
Much Jewier than
that's
my
your
current name.
That's your password, right?
I'm willing to, yeah.
Well, let me get into a little bit more about this because
Is your mom's maiden name Himmler? That's all I want to know.
the popular Southern last name Himmler.
Well, yeah, I mean, it dates back maybe Germanic.
Her last name was actually.
Oh my God. Was it really?
Yeah.
That is like German, isn't it?
I don't think that's German.
is it?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know. All right. I'm glad I got it out of you. This is fun.
Yeah. My
Gotta
credit
change all
score. So in the book here, though, I made one recipe in this. I made the whole wheat loaf from this recipe book, and that turned out really well. I made that before the podcast, and that was smooth sailing, was good, tasted good. And then I decided to go to the other side and do the white bread. And this is actually a recipe called Basic White Bread 2.
Oh, this is the second. They've finally perfected the first one.
There's Basic White Bread 1 and Basic White Bread 2. And I chose Basic White Bread 2 because it sounded a little bit more fun to me and had a little bit more taste, but it clearly messed things up.
What are the clear differences?
Well, the difference is in Basic White Bread 1, all your ingredients are just yeast, water, a little bit of salt, and then a bunch of cups of flour.
Uh-huh.
But in Basic White Bread 2, you substitute, you add in
Cement.
You add in cement. You have milk. So
Okay.
you start off by kind of making this mixture of milk and then butter. You put in how much butter did I put in here? Put in 4 tablespoons of butter. And then I put in 4 tablespoons of honey.
Do you think it just didn't cook long enough, or no? That you could tell right away.
What happened was I mixed it all up. I kneaded it. I put it in the greased bowl for it to rise, do the first rise, like you do with these yeast breads. You do 2 rises. I put it in the yeast bowl. It did not rise.
Oh, so that was already a bad sign.
Yes. And it's supposed to rise, according to the recipe, it's supposed to rise in 1.5 to 3 hours. Double in size. So you put it in a bowl, cover the bowl with plastic wrap, and within 1.5 to 3 hours, it doubles in size. It had not doubled in size. And I was like, okay. And so I left it. I ended up leaving it for 7 hours. And it did not. It kind of started to get a little bit bigger. And I was like, I don't know what to do. It was already 9 p.m. last night. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, I'm
Starting
just
to panic.
Yeah. So I took it out of the bowl. I did what we call the punch down. Not to be confused with the Baz Luhrmann series.
The Get Down.
The Get Down.
Got it. I saw where you were going with that.
Thank you.
Your eyes rolled into the back of your head. You said it literally 5 minutes ago.
I had a big punch. I had a big cork board that had all of the Baz Luhrmann projects listed on it, and it's not here.
No.
I did the punch down, put it in the bread tins, so it could then do its second rise, and that's where it's really supposed to rise and rise up over the top of the tin. That's supposed to only take... How long is that supposed to take? That's supposed to take between 45 minutes and an hour. It got to an hour. It hadn't moved at all. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. It was 10 p.m. at that point, and I was like, these are just going in the oven.
What was this? I feel so like I'm imagining your stress levels rising as you show 0 of this experience outside on your face, and you're just like walking around like, well, I don't know what else to do.
Well, it's important to project, confidence and coolness under pressure and not let anyone know that you're sweating this.
When you say we call it the punch down, is that an emergency procedure, or is that just the thing
That's
you do before
part of
putting it in?
After it does its first rise, you then take the dough out and you kind of like punch it down. So it's already, the dough will have, filled with gas. I don't know what it fills with, but that it doubles up in size. And then you kind of punch it down, which is you break it back down, reshape it into a loaf, and put it into the bread pan that it will then bake in.
Now, you've used this book before? Or
I have used this book before.
Okay.
But I used the other similar recipe. I used the whole wheat bread recipe. But this Basic White Bread 2 did not work. And I took it out of the oven, and, well, it looked like...
Are you going to try a
this.
piece? It is dangerous, potentially, if it's undercooked. I don't know.
Is it dangerous? I mean, I guess we should try it. We should try it, I guess.
I would like... Is it weird for me to ask you to try it first?
Well, I have. I brought
just don't want to be...
I brought some butter, and I brought some jam out
Yeah,
here.
I saw that. We could eat the butter and jam. Take
Look at
as
that.
tiny of a piece off as possible.
It looks
just
so...
to say you put it in
is
your mouth.
So thick and dense.
I'm just worried that, like... Oh, I guess maybe it's cooked through. I just don't want... Because isn't there elements in it that if it wasn't cooked, it's bad to eat?
Eggs?
No, it's just egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, egg's not great to eat raw, but you do it with cookie dough. All right. It's great. Perfect piece of bread. Wouldn't change a thing.
What is this consist? I mean, this is just like a very thick, dense, heavy
interesting-
consistency. It doesn't taste anything remotely like bread.
But it does have the what is that taste of, like the aftertaste of all breads? Is that yeast or whatever? It does have that, like, oh, I have put bread in my mouth kind of reminiscence. The texture and everything's all strange, but
Yeah. I was very disappointed when I pulled this out.
wow, I feel very bad, but also
We're just but this is what happens. Well, like we did last week, we always rate the breads.
oh, great. I'm sure.
I like the idea of creating a new rating system each time. Mm-hmm. Last time we did crumbs.
It's always good to break the form on the second episode.
I think so.
Of 3.
So the last time we did crumbs, we rated it on a scale of 1 to 5 crumbs.
Okay.
But I think we could rate this on a different scale. I want to do a 1 to 10 scale.
Of crumbs.
Wow. Of crumbs.
No,
what should this one be?
You have an idea.
David, you're the guest.
You said I
What,
want to
do you
do
have
a 1
ideas?
to 10 scale.
I would
You
just like
clearly
a 1
wanted
to 10
say something,
scale.
And then I said crumbs, and it blew the whole reveal.
There was no reveal. I'm trying to think of what it is. What do you think it should be?
Oh, we're just spitballing.
We
here.
are
This
just
is
spitballing.
fun. Well, 10 being the best or the worst. We don't even know
Well,
yet.
I don't. What should it be instead of crumbs?
That's the thing. It could be 10, like, matzahs.
Oh boy! All right, 10 matzahs.
It could be, I don't know, what else is bready? 1 to 10 loaves.
1 to 10 loaves. Yeah, I like this matzah one. Let's say 1 to 10 matzahs. So we can do 1 to 10 matzahs, and you can feel free to.
And 10 being the worst.
10 being
Because matzahs are just
10 being
on
the
its
worst.
own is a very bad bread.
If 10 being the worst and 1 being the best, 1 being a bread you would buy in a
One
fancy
beautiful
bakery,
matzah.
yeah, beautiful matzah, the most tasty matzah,
Uh-huh.
and 10 being the worst. What would you rate this?
Oh, I have to rate first. Well, I'm going to rate it on 5 different
Oh, okay.
scales as well as not just matzahs. So 1 being presentation.
Okay.
I think that you presented it beautifully. So the presentation gets 1 matzah.
Wow. That's a
2,
presentation equivalent to a fancy bakery.
To a fancy, beautiful matzah box.
Okay. Now it's in a
The
box.
best matzah box you can possibly buy. 2, appearance. Now you're going to say, does appearance and presentation, does that overlap? It does not.
Wow.
And the appearance is going to be 10 matzahs. It was
Presentation 1, 10.
yeah. Appearance
10.
Yeah. I think we all saw what happened. I mean, you already knew what it looked like, but when you took it off, it confused me, which is never what you want with food. I didn't want to say anything, and I felt bad. I just was like, oh no. I don't know if Joe's gonna say it's bad or if I'm just gonna think it's bad the entire time and I have to pretend. That's what the presentation did to me, which is not great. But I'm glad that you
Maybe I
were
should have let you kind of stay in that for a little bit.
I saw it and I was like, this doesn't look like bread. What bread's supposed to look like, but maybe it is. And then we're just gonna because I know that you're a good bread maker, but this could have been a real moment where I'm like, oh, he just makes bad breads.
I don't think I am a good bread maker.
I think you are. I think you knew
this
immediately. You're
is
like, something didn't go well.
episode
and
2.
This happens.
So
we got-
you've
so
gone
we've got-
through
2 of my 5. Sorry, this will be much longer after I get through it. 3, we're gonna go mouthfeel,
Okay.
and that's gonna be a 10 as well. The mouthfeel didn't get the consistency that you kind of want out of a bread.
Right.
But 4, this is where it comes back up. I actually don't is gonna be taste. And taste, I don't think was that bad. I think you said it might have been just because I think our eyes made us know that it was probably not done right, but I don't think the taste was off at all. I think that clearly the ingredients were right in there. So I'm going to say that's 3 matzahs.
That's incredible. What,
Yeah.
3 matzahs?
Yeah. Can you believe it?
That's a high. That's very high. Wow.
Yeah, I think because like if consistency and everything, which I haven't gotten to my final ranking, which I've already forgotten the first 4, but if all the other things as part of the bread, I think the taste would have been closer to that same taste. I actually had like some of the white bread taste in my mouth. It just everything else as a part of it. I do wonder, was it supposed to be a roll, like that kind of consistency, or was it supposed to be like the way you'd get like a sandwich bread?
I think it was going to be like a sandwich bread, but just even like the best version of it, I think it was going to be a little bit denser than what you'd buy in a store.
Right. So then,
but this is not even. This just never rose.
So we stumbled upon consistency, which is honestly until this moment I didn't know was going to be the 5th one because I've been making this up the entire time. But that is what brings it back down. That's an 8 because I do think it's still, you kind of could imagine the consistency of what it was supposed to be. So we've got 10 matzahs, or 1 matzah as the presentation, 10 as the appearance. So that's 11 matzahs total.
Wait,
and then
I think it was the other way around.
No. Appearance was bad, and
that was 10. Okay,
yeah. And then
presentation was good though.
Yeah, and then we went back around. Right, we got 3. No. Oh God. There was presentation, appearance, mouthfeel, taste. Texture, mouthfeel, and texture you'd think are the same, but they're not.
I would think. I don't know.
Anyways, that all adds up. We had 1, 10, then another 10, then a 3, and then an 8.
Yeah.
All right. Quick math. 11, 21, 24 plus 8, 32. 32 out of 50. That's just on. That's
not bad.
No, the best score being 5 out of 50, and the worst score being 50 out of 50.
It's not that bad.
It's somewhere. Yeah. What do we got? That's like just a little. That's below a C. It's a D, C to D area. I think because I do think a failure is like it didn't even cook and it actually tastes rancid.
Right.
That's how you have to give that bottom line.
I don't know if this could taste much worse than.
And also, I did help you out by giving you a presentation score, which is just essentially saying I like the bread block.
Thank you. Are you
and the way you revealed it.
Are you? So you did me a favor on those scores.
What is your grade?
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to break it down by those 5.
Yeah, because it would take too long.
I do think I think I have to give this. I have to give this an overall 10.
Wow, worst possible grade.
Worst possible grade.
So you know that a bread couldn't be worse? Like truly, you think?
I think this was as much a disaster as any bread.
Man,
can
you have a high
possibly
standard
be.
for yourself.
This is unbelievable. This is horrible.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but you don't think that a bread could taste rancid or like?
I don't know. Maybe I guess it could be moldy.
Right.
But okay, I guess I'll change it. I'll make this a 9.
Great. 9 terrible matzahs.
Terrible. 9 terrible. 9
bad.
matzahs. I forgot that it was matzahs.
Yeah.
So, well,
man,
there we go. We learned a lot.
I guess that's a bummer. I feel bad.
It is kind of a bummer. And it's also kind of a bummer because like you haven't listened to the other episode, but on the other episode, we had a segment called Surprise Rise.
Oh, wow.
Where I revealed to our previous guest, Lauren, that even though I'd told her I had only made 1 baked good, I'd actually made 2 baked goods. And
you also didn't.
I did not do that this week. I did not do that this week.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. It's very bad.
Is there a different segment in which you somehow are going to reveal something else?
Yeah, there is
Okay.
a segment, and it's called Joe's Fibs.
Oh, no.
And I just told it, and I did make a second surprise
oh, my
rise.
God.
Surprise rise!
Wow.
There is a second baked dish,
So-
David, for you to try.
Your segment fib is that you actually do have the same segment you did in the last week.
Yes,
Got
the
it.
segment fib. You only learned the Joe's Fib segment.
And I like that
after it's happened.
That surprise rise is a well-named segment, and Joe's Fibs is almost as if you came up with it in the moment.
I think
there's no alliteration whatsoever.
You know, it's hard. I don't want to judge the
Yeah, right.
But anyway, David, if you want to turn behind you,
Oh my God.
and you're going to see a blue Trader Joe's bag. If you want to pick that up.
Oh my God. I'm off mic right now. I'm sorry. Presentation. Oh my God. This is unbelievable. Did you also do a bad bread and then a good bread last week?
Well, we'll see. Now, this is unlike, again, it's another situation where even though this segment is called Surprise Rise, I did not make a bread,
Well, Joe's
but I
Fibs.
made another baked good. These are, what is the full title?
from a different-
These are cream cheese marbled brownies.
Oh my God. I'm obsessed. This looks awesome. And these look like food.
These look like food. These cooked. I don't want to like prejudge what we're going to talk about here, but these did cook. Yeah, cream cheese marbled brownies. It was a recipe I got from the Better Homes and Gardens baking cookbook, which is the same cookbook I used for the surprise rise last week, I believe.
Not a gift.
The pecan sandies.
And that book is not a gift. That was a self-purchase.
This book was a gift. I don't.
Not an heirloom, I
Yeah.
should say.
I've never bought a cookbook for myself. It's just become an easy gift to give me.
That's
for
true. You've
People
made it your
that
thing.
know a little bit about me. But yeah, David, help yourself.
Wow.
Have one. Let
I'm
me
excited.
just
This changed my mood entirely.
yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about this.
I love this Joe's Fibs segment.
So these are, I thought about making I've never made regular brownies before, but seemed like kind of like a fun twist on a brownie. 'Cause like I said, these are cream cheese marbled brownies. So initially you make two different kind of mixtures. You make one mixture that has, let me see what's in this. One mixture that is like a little bit of butter with some cream cheese, an egg, some sugar, and then you put that off to the side. And then you make kind of your second typical brownie mixture. And that has, let me see what's in that.
You know what's fun about pre-recording all these is that you have no idea how the audience will react to the long explanations of the how
This
you make
is
the bread.
this is what the breadcast is all
I
about,
know.
is talking
I love
about
it.
it.
It's great. You have to assume it's a great idea.
Yeah, and then in the saucepan, in the other mixture, you put chocolate, you put butter again. What else do you put in here? You put sugar. You add in more eggs, milk, vanilla, and this recipe called for almond extract. But I don't have any almond extract, and I kind of looked at the store for it, and I didn't see it, and I was like, I don't think anyone's going to miss the almond extract.
Wow.
I
I was just going to say there's a lack of something in here.
You were missing the almond extract?
Mm-hmm.
How much almond extract? 1 teaspoon of almond extract,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of brownies here.
Something wasn't extracted from these brownies.
Well, I don't know if you. I don't know if that's what would do.
No, this is. Am I supposed to ruin my rating?
Well, let me just say a little bit
okay,
more
go.
about the making of this. I know that this was. Here's the part that was kind of interesting. So you put the chocolate mixture into the big baking pan. I had this big 13 by 9 by 2 inch baking pan. Poured the chocolate mixture in there. And that's, I'll have photos of this. And then you take your cream cheese mixture, which was the very first mixture you made, and you put globs of that on top. And then I took a little metal butter knife, and I kind of they call it marbling in the recipe, where you kind of gently mix the cream cheese mixture through the chocolate mixture. You're not mixing it up so that it totally disappears, though. You're just kind of like spreading it through, creating the marbling type appearance. Yes. And also, I don't know if you're really supposed to, like, how deep you're supposed to mix in the cream cheese mixture, but it seemed like the cream cheese mixture basically stayed towards the top of the brownies.
To me, it looks like how it's supposed to look.
Yeah. Let's talk about how these look. They're
smashed into a Tupperware
container. They are, I think they look like typical brownies. The inside is like dark and cakey, but the top is kind of a lighter brown with this kind of lighter marbling effect. That's all I can think to call it.
They're beautiful. Now, is part of the recipe putting them in the fridge to make them hard?
Yes.
Okay.
I did have
one.
one
Kind of fudgy in a nice way.
Yeah, I had one after I took them out of the oven, but then you're supposed to place brownies, well, in a single layer in an airtight container cover, store in the refrigerator for up to 3 days.
They aren't supposed to be on top of each other, but that's fine.
I stacked all these up on top in one container because I had a ton of them.
I wonder where you learn this kind of efficiency. Is that just somewhere in your genetics somewhere?
Efficiency? You mean putting them all in a container like this?
Tight spot and figuring out how to efficiently pack everything into one space.
I don't think this is that efficiently packed.
And shove it into, I don't know, a place to...
What are you talking about?
I don't know what I'm getting at.
Is this... What are you... I don't understand. But, so yeah, what do you think?
That's a matzah right there. That's one big old...
One matzah.
Beautiful matzah. I'm a sweets person as well, so like I have a hard time rating any dessert poorly. So not to say that that's on a curve or anything, but I think you executed this perfectly. It's really good.
This I thought turned out...
I'm genuine.
This I thought turned out really well. I've never made brownies before, especially brownies from scratch.
Are you going to switch over to desserts now? Was it satisfying, or breads seem to be more of a challenge in a fun way?
Breads are challenging, and they are frustrating because you end up with situations like this where the white bread doesn't rise. But this was, you get this, and
surprise.
I don't know if there's a difference in the sensations once you're done in terms of being satisfied about being a baker.
Right. You don't, like you're saying, you don't understand like if there's emotions or anything.
Okay, all right. Okay, I see what you're doing there. And
I don't know if there's a sensation I get from doing something I like.
They feel the same. The bread is just this. I thought this turned out really well. This, very happy with this.
They're really good.
The only thing was the recipe said to bake it at 325 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes until you stick a toothpick in there, and then the toothpick comes out with just a few crumbs on it. But I stuck it in there. I ended up having to cook it for 1 hour and 7 minutes before I got that toothpick situation.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So that's like, well, I guess all ovens can be a little different.
I guess so. I don't know if it's my oven. Is my oven actually cooler than 325? I don't know. But 325 is a pretty low heat, but it seemed to work out pretty well. A good thing about baking baking desserts as opposed to baking breads is that you get that time right after you put it in the oven, or you get that spatula.
Oh yes,
that has the batter on it. It has that sweet batter on it.
Do we have? Is that another segment where we get to lick a spatula?
I wish I'd saved that. I did think I do have a name for that. I call it the baker's privilege.
Oh, interesting.
To lick the spatula.
I like that. Mm-hmm. That's a really good name.
I'll make sure
you invented that.
I just can't. I don't know. Maybe someone else has said it before, but I came up with it the other night when I was licking the spatula. I said, "This is a bit of a baker's privilege.
This is a real privilege to be me."
I took a photo of the spatula. I'll put the photo up for people to see.
Did you really?
I did it, yeah.
Oh.
I've documented this whole process. You can follow it all on the Breadcast Twitter.
This is...
Wow. How many...
You thought through it all.
So how many matzahs... So yeah, you kind of already said...
I gave away my review. I really think that like everything across the board... Well, I guess if I were to... I gave such a great presentation score to the other one because it was presented on this, and this is put in a Tupperware container, stacked, not in like... as good, but I would only mark that down one matzah just if I'm going to have to give a grade.
Oh, okay.
So it would then be 6 matzahs instead of 5 from all the scores. But everything is perfect, if that makes any sense.
I don't know if I
Each
do. I don't know if I
matzah-
understand.
One matzah is the best grade you could have.
Yes. So this is, what's your...
So
did you give
one
this
matzah for each category.
Oh, wow.
Except presentation, which is 2, because I feel like since I gave such a high presentation score, I have to, like, if you were to put this block next to a Tupperware container, you have to, I guess, acknowledge
The
that.
block, though, when I brought the white bread out, it had like a loose piece of torn tinfoil just on top of it.
Then
That
the tinfoil was removed.
had a little bit of drama.
And very dramatic. This was a Trader Joe's bag and then a.
But it was
Tupperware
hidden in the
container.
room, and you were sitting.
there
You were
was
sitting
flair.
by it.
Now,
the
flair
whole
is a
time.
different category, and I'm adding to it.
I have to speak up.
Oh
Okay.
no!
I have to speak up. This will probably be edited.
Okay.
out. But I gotta defend Joe. on this.
Really?
Yeah, because we didn't know what that that was like an immersive.
That
theater
was
moment.
amazing. Does that count as presentation?
I think it was a little bit of presentation.
Okay, a little hide and seek
Yeah.
kind of aspect of it. Now, is there more of a reveal? Like, everything in this room is edible? Is there any more segments in which I turn and eat another thing?
Well, Dave, I've got news for you. No.
Well, I mean, technically behind you is your kitchen.
This
so.
represents 2 full days of baking, essentially, for me.
This is amazing.
This was a lot of work. You know, it's really doing this 2 weeks in a row, having to bake a bunch of stuff. I do like it, but it is tiring. And it is like, I think the white bread suffered from being kind of the 4th thing in 2 weeks that I've baked. Coming at
wow.
the end of
So
that.
you're
And
like-
that maybe, did I mess up somehow? Is that why?
a little delirious
Yeah.
in the bread. But, you know, that's also part of it. You got to get into the weeds with it.
Right, ups and
You
downs.
got to have flour on your nose, like just like under your elbows and bread. And, you know, I guess some mistakes happen, but
Well, yeah. One of the sweetest parts of bacon is that when you put that thing in the oven and then you get to unwind with a nice glass of wine.
oh, what do you call that?
I don't have a name for that. I
You
guess
don't?
that's the baker's
The Saunders sommelier?
the Saunders sommelier.
No, that doesn't make sense. It's the baker's privilege.
It's baker's privilege too, I guess.
Yeah, just like there's
Baker's
2
privilege too.
white breads.
You lick the batter off the.
It seems like anything you do in your regular life that you enjoy is the baker's privilege, whether it's, you know, it's just outside of the actual bread.
That's true. After I kiss my girlfriend, I always say baker's privilege.
That's everyone's privilege.
She loves it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So now
so-
everyone knows you have a girlfriend. You're giving away so many details about your life.
Yeah, that's true. It's
How
true.
does? Of course, you have a girlfriend. Look at this. You're making breads. You're competent in the kitchen
Yep.
and comfortable.
Well, I wish. Well, anyway, yeah, I also would give. You know what? I'm going to give these brownies. I'm going to give these brownies 2 matzahs.
Wow.
Because I think they are. This is maybe one of the best things I've ever made.
So you just want to
but
leave room for the possible
I do
possibility
think-
of the best possible.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like quite that transcendent one matzah. But it's pretty good.
I just like I think I just have a obsession with desserts where like if I finish the whole thing, it's 11 in the morning. It's not even the time you would want to eat a dessert.
Yeah.
Great job, Joe. Honestly.
Thank you. Feeling good about
Truly,
it.
that's what I call the podcast guest privilege. All right.
David, thanks for being with us today and trying the breads.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the breads. Thanks for the brownies.
Yeah. Where can someone follow your personality
How
on
do you
the internet?
follow my personality? Are you asking if I have anything to
Do
plug?
you have anything you'd like to plug or a social media account where people
I
can
feel
follow you?
like I don't want to taint what this podcast is really about, which is it's about the bread, and I don't want this to be even remotely about who I am or what I do.
Well, feel free to
I'm
throw-
here for the bread.
Okay. Wow. All right.
And so I will just say you can find me on the episode 2 of the Breadcast.
Okay. The episode you're listening to right now.
The episode you're listening to right now, you can find more of me. And yeah, I mean, look, I don't tweet. What else?
You sometimes tweet.
I'm no Medusa cat. I don't, that's your other personality.
Well, you have a Twitter account. People can find you if they search you, probably.
Yes, that's true. And maybe it'll be probably on the link to this episode.
There you go. That's our show for the week. Thank you again to my guest, David Phillips. And if you'd like to see the photos of the baking process and the links to the recipe I used, check us out on Twitter at the Breadcast. All one thing, at the Breadcast. Just a little bit of credits. Our theme song is written and performed by Danny Cohen. Our engineer is Mark David Christensen, and our editor is Rachel Hastings. Special thanks to the Doughboys, Nick Weiger and Mike Mitchell. And tune in next week, for the third and final episode of the Breadcast trilogy. I'm your host, Joe Saunders. Thanks for listening.
Will the bread make it out of the carbonite?
Bye.
The Breadcast. Yum, 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 yum.
Doughboys,